Hello, my name is Sam Robinson, and this is my lesson plan project. In this project, students in advanced mathematical decision making will be applying trig triangle principles such as law of sines, law of cosines, Heron's formula, and etc. And they're going to take those concepts and apply them to real world scenarios. The tools that are going to be used for this project are the main ones are Canvas, Google Apps for Education, YouTube, Screencast-O-Matic, and a couple of other research websites that we're going to explore here in a minute. The first thing we're going to start with is we'll start with Canvas and how it's going to be used to help these students. The main thing is it's just it's a learning management system that's going to help them set up a checklist and help them pace themselves and keep organized. The main thing here you'll see is there's an introduction where students can find all the information they need to know about the project, the different checkpoints along the way, and in these checkpoints are embedded YouTube videos that will help them kind of guide them, refresh them on concepts that it may have been a while since they've seen, and they can go through and they can look in these checkpoints. One of these checkpoints provides them an example problem of using triangles in the real world, not necessarily what they're going to do, but a similar concept. Another one explains to them how they will use, how they can use Google Slides to set up their presentation. One of the key components of this project is they have to create a presentation that they will create a screencast of, and this is a refresher, a screencast of using Google Slides to do that for them. So that's there for them to use if they'd like. They can use Prezi or other things, but I'm going to really be pushing for Google Slides. The last checkpoint is a way to use Screencast-O-Matic. We have done some of these before in class, so they'll be able to go through. And I've linked the tutorial page to them to help them, but they should know, have a general idea of how to set up a screencast. So that's just kind of the main way that Canvas is going to be used. They'll submit their project through here, and I have it set up to where they can submit their URL to their screencast, or if they did it, use something else such as iMovie to create their screencast. And also a place for them to upload their Google slide or whatever presentation format they used. Another way that we're going to be using Google Docs is we'll be looking at creating a survey for when they finish, and this will be a project eval survey. This will be a good way for me to assess the learning and the experience that the student had participating in the project. The next one is a partner survey. Students are going to be working with partners, and it's very important for students to be honest about the amount of work that their partner did to help the teacher kind of evaluate students' projects, especially in a class full of seniors. It's important to know who's working and who's helping carry their weight. So there's a partner survey. Well, they'll take that through Canvas and they'll submit through Google, and then I can use that to kind of evaluate how students felt about the project and their grouping. Next thing we're going to look at is I'm going to provide them a couple of sources. They're going to have to go out and research and find where trig concepts are used. They could use, obviously they could Google, but there are a couple of websites here, Britannica and Explorica. We have that through our school, and so what they would do is they would sign in through their Britannica or their Explorer account, which they have in the library. And I've provided the website for that here. And what that'll do is in both of those sites, you can increase the font, you can listen to it, or you can translate to your language. So our ELL learners, our students with disabilities, anyone like that is going to be able to kind of manipulate the research that they get, and then be able to help them out and do things with different words and different disabilities. The last thing we'll look at here is the project rubric, and this will be the way to assess the students. The students have access to this rubric, so they'll be able to click on here and check and just make sure they have everything that they need as far as being graded. The last thing through Canvas, like I said, we've already talked about it, make sure they submit their project. But other than that, those are the main source of their technology device is going to be Canvas. Then they're going to be using some other Google Apps for Education. They're going to be using YouTube. They're going to be using different research sites that will help them translate and to read aloud and things like that. Implementing this project is a great for the kids because it's an authentic learning experience. They get to take concepts in the classroom and apply them to the real world. Some of them can go as deep as to find a career that they may even be interested in and seeing how trig triangles or trig concepts can apply to that. When implementing the hardest part about this lesson is just the amount of technology that's being used. I try to make sure throughout the year that we're using these things so that they keep up to date on how to do it. But submitting the assignment is always a biggie. Making sure they have it submitted correctly, or making sure they have the correct YouTube settings. Make sure that I can access it and things like that. So basic troubleshooting is always a key factor when you want to implement this thing. But overall, it's a great project. Kids love it. It's an easy way to get them looking at trig triangles, and the presentations, the screencasts are fun because they don't feel like they have to stand in front of the room and embarrass in their presentation. They can create a screencast, and they can do what they want with it. You get a lot of good production from the kids. Some kids like to just talk over their videos. Some kids like to try to add music. Some kids like to do different things, but you get a quality product from students based on an authentic learning experience.